Today we're building a Q4 command center from scratch. Dashboards, to-do lists, action items, and even a polished report you can send to a client. In this video, part one, we're using the Mershar Copilot to build the dashboard from 6 years of our advertising data. Then in part two, we'll connect more data sources and turn it into the full command center with a client report. This is my real Amazon ads account inside of Mershar. Real spend, small account these days, warts and all. And it's currently August, and Q4 is where this account used to make its money. And Q4 prep starts now, not in November. Amazon's daily reports go back 15 months these days. My Q4 answers live a lot further back than that. And Mershar has every day since 2020. We're going to build a dashboard to get ready for Q4. And I'm going to do that just by describing the views that I want to my AI that's running on our AI Copilot. And I'm going to build it live. And by the end of this, we're going to have a Q4 war room I can use every week from now to December. And it's something that an agency could even send to a client. Every PPC tool tells you their dashboard. This one is going to be mine. I'm going to jump into Claude Cowork and you can follow along. Now that we're in Claude, we're just going to start talking to our AI agent to describe what we want. Let's start with something pretty simple and we'll just build on from there. Build me an HTML dashboard of this year so far. Spend, sales, orders, ACoS, top products. You can pick the layout. And let's just let it do its thing and we'll see what it comes up with. All right, so it's asking what account I want to work with. I'm going to choose my primary account. That's the one we're mostly concerned with. I have some other ad accounts across different countries, but this is the one we use the most, my US ad account. All right, here's our dashboard. It's spend, our sales, orders, pretty straightforward dashboard. And by product, what stands out? I didn't ask for this, but this is kind of cool. So June drove most of my sales. Top 15 products count for most out of my 3,200 advertisations. So this is a good start. This is pretty basic dashboard. Nothing that I wouldn't be able to see for the most part just within most PPC tools or even Mershar. But we wanted to start with something and now we can improve it. So let's take this a little bit further. I have a lot of data going all the way back to December 2020 that we can use. So let's take a look at that. Now add every fourth quarter that I have data for side by side or whatever looks best. And let's do it just for November 1st through Christmas. These are really the only dates that I care about. And we let that run. While that's running and working, I can go do other stuff. And it's just going to run in the background. So it's done. It's giving me a chart here. Holiday window. Let's see what we got. Holiday window. So peak versus the latest last year. Used to sell a lot more. And that's exactly why we're building this. So we can work on getting back to that. But with one prompt, it was able to build all of this in a matter of a few minutes. Amazon's own reports are going to stop at 15 months, so it can't even go back past years to be able to build a dashboard like this. And with Mershar, we store that data over time, so you always have access to it. So pretty cool to be able to see this. I didn't get any design guidance or anything. We could just leave it like this. We can keep building. So let's see what else we can do with it. And it's giving me some options, want me to break down the top products for each holiday season. Now let's add everything that's ever converted in a past Q4. And when I say Q4, let's keep that same November to Christmas timeframe. And then show me how it's next to its current state. So state, bid, when the last bid was changed. And let's rank this by the dollars that are at stake. And we're again going to let it do its thing. I'm not being super detailed with this. We're going to let it decide what to build with this, and then we can refine it further to fit our needs. And the great thing about something like this, I can use this throughout the year or every single year once we get a template that we like, and continue to refine it over that time as well. All right, so we got top products. Let's see what we got here. So these are all keywords. And it's highlighting some different keywords that are now paused. More than half my keywords are paused. Some haven't had bid change. And the top 25 represent most of the dollars at stake that it came up with. So this is pretty cool. We could use something like this. And these are really useful. So it's giving me suggestions just based on the prompt. I didn't ask for it, but it's still providing those kind of recommendations that have a lot of value. All right, let's see what it thinks. Okay, give me just one single number. How ready am I for Q4 right now? Add that to our dashboard. All right, here it's 62%. That's how ready we are. And the logic behind it is they're enabled in a bid we've touched each year or within the last year. We could probably take this further though, because this is only considering what's paused, but there's probably some reasons that some of those are paused. Maybe we can work on what the actual logic is, and we could just kind of explain that thought to it. I don't really know what the best way to handle getting prepared is necessarily for this account. So, but I think there's probably more to it than just, are all the keywords that ever earn money in Q4 enabled, and have we touched the bids in the last year? So let's just explain that. I think there's probably a better way we can prep for Q4. So I'm interested in what your ideas would be. With this Q4 readiness logic, we're only considering if a keyword is enabled that's earned money during any past Q4 and whether we've touched the bid, where it's likely that some of these keywords have stopped performing or there's other reasons that they haven't been touched. How can we make this more valuable for our Q4 War Room dashboard? Implement any changes or ideas you have into the dashboard to make this as useful as possible. And that's it. We're going to just let it do its thing, and we'll come back and see what it comes up with. All right, so this is a little closer. It's looking at more than just whether things are on across the whole account history, looking at the last few years. It recognizes some keywords that aren't doing so well. But when we look at this, I mean, ideally we get back to our peak. That's not always possible, right? Like with just product life cycle, that's not necessarily going to be possible. But I wonder if we can improve. Last year was our weakest year, and it's been in decline over the past 4 years. So we want to try to get back to that. And there's going to be some things that worked in 2022 that just don't work now. We probably want to discover what those are. It is flagging some stuff that just run too high of ACoS. This is a start for sure. And this is how we work with AI. It's not going to be perfect or know exactly what we're looking for. And I mean, part of it is that I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm looking for either. So let's just keep refining this. The overall goal of this is to try to get back on track towards our peak sales. I know that may not be possible. Some stuff that worked then isn't working now, or have gotten a lot more expensive where they don't work as well. How can we surface some of the keywords or even products, maybe even some of the products I think would be interesting to see which ones have done well and we should focus more on that are on a positive trajectory. And then the ones that have historically done well, we want to try to recover sales as much as possible. How should we go about showcasing that within our dashboard? It still feels like it's not quite where we want it to be most effective in getting ready for Q4, and not just, what's good compared to the last year or two, but trying to get back to our peak sales. And let's just let it run. And if you notice, I'm using a transcription software. It's Whisper Flow that I'm using now, which I really like a lot. And I just sort of these days ramble my conscious thoughts to the AI and let it parse it and figure out what the best way to go about that is. So we're going to let it see what it's doing. And something else we can do as well is just try different models. I'm using Opus 4.8 with this. There's Codex as well with their new Soul models that can work. If you're subscribed to the Max plan with Claude, you can use their Fable models and change the effort. So there's different ways you can get different results from this as well. But I think Opus 4.8 is worth plenty good enough for this kind of use case, and we can keep modifying, especially in this situation where I don't quite know what I'm looking for. I know I want to, have it look at Q4 and how we prepare for that. And, this is sort of my workflow, is just working back and forth with it to refine it to get what we want. And giving it a goal like this of what we're trying to accomplish can help as well. And we're going to keep steering it in the right direction. And I think this just highlights how important it is to have a human still in the loop. The AIs are amazing at so many different things, but you still need to have this review pass with a human to keep it on track towards what you want to accomplish. All right, let's see what it came up with here. So we have a new section here, our mission, the road back to peak sales. Yep, that's the overall goal, what we want to accomplish. And we got comeback products and keywords, which is cool. And rising products, the stuff that is growing into 2025. Recovery is concentrated. So one product, 90% of the winnable gap. Cost creep. So this is probably something everybody's felt over the years. The keywords that carried the peak is now running higher ACoS versus my 24% target. Now the 24% target I have is that's my own targeted ACoS I have set within Mershar that it's using. I think we're still missing some context with this, where this is only seeing our advertising data at this point. It's not seeing how that's feeding total sales with the organic side of it. And that's one of the great things with these AI tools, is that we can feed it from multiple data sources to give it additional context to make better decisions. So I think that's what we can do next, by giving it actual sales data from our account for our ASINs. So to do that, I'm going to put together exports of my ASINs, sales by ASINs, and give it this context. In part 2, we'll feed it our actual sales data, have it build automations in Mershar that do the work for us, and turn all this into a polished report you could send to a client. Follow the channel so you don't miss it. And if you want this on your own account, grab a demo at merchjar.com or start the 14-day free trial.